Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Echoes, Season 1, Episode 3, Tuklo, and I guess we're going to be seeing her story in this episode. Very excited for another episode to see what Maya's up to. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and let's go. Not how I expected it to open. It's a unique way of telling the story. I mean, so far Maya's ancestors have all been very much about protecting their people, and I wonder if Maya will come to the same conclusion. That revenge and power aren't the most important things. Good for you. You could have got shot while you were doing that, mate. Supporting her now, though, that's good, even if he was a bit slow to get here. Your ancestors have been focused on protecting what's theirs and those they care about, not on power for power's sake, Maya, my love.
She's bringing trouble with her.
She's your grandkid. You threw her to the wolves. You didn't have much choice, but...
She's too much like her father. You haven't seen her any more than I have in the last 20 years.
Thing is, who's to blame for the fact that she's so much like her father, given that her father raised her with no other familial input? Like, I know it was complicated, and I don't totally hate the grandmother for being like, I have to protect my family, the only family that I can protect. I can't take, like, there's no way Maya's father would have said, yeah, sure, you take Maya, I'll leave her behind. Like, he would have wanted his kid with him. So, like, I know why she did what she did, but I still definitely think, like, she's not letting herself remember that Maya is her granddaughter and she should care about her. She's keeping that barrier in place so that she doesn't feel bad about what happened. And
you know, you two are exactly alike.
They are very similar. Stubborn.
Everything I've done has been to protect my family, however much it hurt.
You lost your daughter.
And you threw away your granddaughter.
Swallow your pride.
I got nothing to say.
Because you're ashamed that you turned your back on her?
Well, maybe you should.
You had your reasons, but you did just throw your granddaughter away. And protect the rest of your family. You never protected her.
Ready, wait for my call.
Take him out. He still needs to pay for what he did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Every time I see this actor in anything, that's all I will think about. Oh fuck. Well, if anything, our ancestors distracted her. Oof. So he's also a prisoner here.
Appreciate it. Night, Bonnie.
I wondered if that was Bonnie. She just looks so much younger out of her uniform. Like, I was like, is that like a teenager or someone playing a teenager? She looks so different outside of the EMS uniform. But I was like, is this guy our uncle? That could be Bonnie. Oh lord. She looks so much younger outside of her uniform. I mean, she doesn't look old in the uniform, but... Oh dear, not the way for the cousins to be reunited. It's going great. Hi. Now she has a reason to break free. So Maya's reasons for not contacting Bonnie are, I think, range between not wanting Bonnie to be involved and hurt, and not wanting to be vulnerable herself and let someone in. I mean, this isn't the time for a catch-up, sweetheart. Oof. Whoa, so when she texted her earlier, I took that to be that they were still in contact, even if it wasn't like super all the time contact. But that was just Bonnie reaching out to Maya and Maya never responding. Too painful for her, I think, when she was younger.
That way, if you leave now, you got nothing to worry about.
He's involved in the war now, whether he wants to be or not.
Her zip ties. Told you I heard her dealing with it on no kidnap.
What is she saying to her? They weren't supposed to be fighting each other.
weren't supposed to be fighting each other.
Cap, go!
We need her alive. Let's get out of here.
Had to try and make it so Bonnie's not seen as working with her. Or just to cause a distraction.
We got protocols, right? I keep the money safe while I assess his.
What is his accent?
Of course not.
You're in over your head,
You
Vicky.
would, yeah? Like, I need to know that you have it.
Sir, not that you deserve any form of respect. Just hope you're alive at the end of this. Which I don't because of Daisy. Which the MCU and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are totally both canon together, and therefore you are clearly a Malik descendant and therefore evil and deserve to die. Maybe an illegitimate descendant that I didn't know about, regardless, you deserve to die. I love that she was. Initially, I was gonna be like, why would she be looking up a video? But it was how to deal with a hostage. Ouch! I felt that killing blow.
You grab the money.
Was something wrong?
No?
I mean, it's Maya. What do you expect? She's not gonna be an easy captive.
still got a deal. So.
Don't look, Bonnie.
I got what I want here. You's the one who's gonna give me the answers to my question.
Oh dear.
Where is Maya Lopez?
Still here. Her family's in danger. Won't bother her. And that deserved to be smashed up. I know it's like ironic, but or like mocking the original quote, but still. Her ancestors live on within her, and right now she is protecting family. And she never wanted Bonnie involved in any of this. Yep. So far the main innocent party. Ugh.
Let's go!
And leaving her behind? Why? They had her. They could have killed her. Taken her in, done whatever they wanted. It's nothing good. You technically already hurt her and you were powerless to stop them hurting her in there. But they're going after her because getting to her gets to you. If you go down this path, Bonnie will get hurt again. Both when something happens to you, inevitably down the line, or sooner. Mm-hmm. Fisk?
There's...
Should have kept shooting. Hacked his head off, I don't know.
I'm helping you.
You have no choice now, to be fair, but that's good. We need all the help we can get. Everyone related to you, or known to have been close to you, will be in danger if they come for you. When they come for you.
That means Chakta Tushka is on the scene, but won't go see her.
She doesn't want to see Maya, yeah.
Her heart was broken when you left.
Maya didn't leave. Maya was a child.
This place.
And they left. Yes, they left because the dad had a job and he was going to go to the job regardless. But she told him to leave. And she didn't say, leave Maya with me. She didn't even remotely suggest what your line of work got my daughter, your wife killed. Don't let it kill your daughter. Do leave her with me. She didn't even try that argument or any argument. She just told him to fuck off. I don't blame Maya for not wanting to be the one to make the move. Though someone has to. Mm-hmm. Maya was a child. Oh, great. Is he here to issue threats, or is he here to be like, hey, I killed your dad, you shot me in the face, even? Maya. She needed to kill him more. A very high body count in this episode, though at least these were all self-defense kills. Maybe they didn't all need as much violence as they got, but hey, you know, this time they were self-defense. I do love Maya as a character. I love her a lot. She's fascinating to watch, and there have been obviously lots of other characters like her throughout history, often men, who have acted in a similar anti-hero vein. I just feel like Maya, they've shown that she's capable of so much more than just wanting power for the sake of power, and I kind of hope, well, I sort of hope she ultimately is going to choose to go for that, but there's like 2 episodes left, right? So I don't know at this point. I am really enjoying this show, though. Maya and Bonnie finally came face to face. Obviously, the only way it was going to happen would be if either Bonnie forced it, or if it happened somewhat like this. What I would really like to do is have Maya properly sit down and break down. And I don't mean break down in crying necessarily. I mean break down those walls she has built up and tell someone, whether it's her grandmother, whether it's Bonnie, everything she's feeling. How hurt she was when she was forced to leave when she was a child. How hurt she never got over her mother's death. How what happened to her father destroyed her. How growing up knowing your father is a criminal doing shady business messes with you. How ending up in that business with Fisk doing bad things for him, but thinking you were part of a family, you were honouring your father, only to learn that actually you were being groomed and gaslit, and the man that you have been like calling uncle was actually the one behind your father's death, and going on all of this and not feeling like you can face, like, is it because she thinks I'm a bad person, Bonnie is a good person, I can't face her? Is it because she thinks Bonnie will get drawn into this if I am near her, whereas if it appears that I don't care about her, people will leave her alone? Is it because she misses her so much and she thinks Bonnie will make her go away from her mission? Like, there are so many different reasons, and they can all be a bit intermingled as to why she is staying so far away from Bonnie and has apparently never responded to any of Bonnie's messages. But I just want to know. I want to get under her skin. I want to know what she's thinking and what she's feeling, because I feel like at this point we're 3 episodes in, and I don't know a whole deal about what makes Maya tick. I know a decent amount, but I need her to talk to someone about it so that I can know too. Now I love how skillful she is with her fighting, how inventive it is. How despite like the guy showing up with 752 million people, he was still underestimating her. If Bonnie hadn't been there, I don't know that he would have stopped Maya. Maya still does have weaknesses, and again, the whole like staying away from Bonnie to protect her argument clearly doesn't work, even though she was still trying to say it in this episode, because Bonnie was involved because she was Bonnie. Now, yes, she was involved because she'd seen that something was going on, and if anyone had knocked on the door and realised something was off, they would have abducted them too. But the whole shenanigan of everything that was happening in part because of who Bonnie was to Maya. There is no reason to suspect that, I mean, if you're a big bad evil like Fisk, or the people who work for Fisk, if we were assuming Fisk had not made it, as Maya was up to this point, why wouldn't they target the people Maya had once been close to? Her family. Why wouldn't they look for her in her home, her childhood home that she grew up in? Like, yes, they haven't known Maya so much back then, but it's a small town. Her uncle kind of is part of the network. Like, they know who she is and who her family are. Probably there's a degree of protection. Like, if Fisk goes around targeting people unrelated to crime, that's when you, like, tend to start getting more attention on you. If like a paramedic is murdered, that's going to cause more attention than if like a gangster number 7 is murdered. But still, there's no guarantee of their safety, as this episode proved. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Maya does from here. I was kind of hoping her grandmother was going to have gone to see her, because I kind of understand her grandmother. I think they've done a better job of explaining the grandmother's motivations in some ways. Like, she was just protecting the family she could protect, and she was, I guess in a way, cutting Maya off, was kind of cutting off the pain of her daughter's death and not actually processing it, because she was just, you know, like, that doesn't exist. No wall there is no pain behind that door. But in reality, a very, very hurt little girl who lost her mother also lost her entire maternal side of the family, and only had her father for support and her father's crime family. That was all she had in her life growing up. Things could have been different, because at this point, it's very unlikely that the crime family blowback would hit on your wife's family once your wife's dead. You know, I think the cut breaks or whatever weren't even necessarily targeting the wife, they were probably targeting the father. So at this point, Maya was the only family member directly at risk of being hurt by association. Now, was there a part of her that knew that Maya's father was devoted and would never give her up, that thought, I can't lose Maya to the same world? But she didn't even try to hold on to Maya. She didn't try to be there for Maya, to keep her daughter's memory alive with Maya, to support her the way her daughter would have wanted. She cut Bonnie and Maya off from their deep bond. And really, like, yes, there is a lot to be said for Maya also hasn't reached out to her grandmother and has been cutting Bonnie and everybody off. But the grandmother cut her off first, and Maya was a grieving child. And the worst thing is, she says that everything she's ever done has been to protect her family, but Maya is also her family, and she threw her to the wolves. She knew the life she would end up living. Now, I do think it is definitely true that Maya's father did not want Maya to join the Fisk's criminal empire. He was trying to give Maya all the tools to have a better life, a life apart from the danger and that. From what he has said, I don't think he was grooming her to be his little crime mini-me. I think he wanted her to be able to protect herself and things, but I don't think he intended for her to follow in his footsteps in the way she ended up doing. But even so, her grandmother has a lot to answer for in abandoning Maya, and I think part of her now not wanting anything to do with Maya and only viewing Maya for the threat she poses, not for the other, because it is true, Maya coming to town has already caused a lot of harm to people. It is putting people in danger. That is not true. But she's completely ignoring the truth that this is her granddaughter who is still hurting from the death of her father, having never got over the death of her mother, like, who has no family left apart from the people in this town. And her grandmother is just calling her a threat. She is a threat to my family, but she is your family. And I think the minute the grandmother allows herself to process that and to think that and to realize that, yeah, that's my granddaughter, and I haven't been in her life all this time. She's been suffering and alone for so long, and I left her to it. And even when she had her father, there would have been times when her father was off doing shady things and she felt alone. I was never there in her life. I abandoned my daughter's daughter, and that is not a good feeling to have. That is a feeling that would fuck you up a little bit. So I can understand her having her wall up and not wanting to broach it. It's kind of similar to Maya's wall when it comes to Bonnie. But it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. And when push comes to shove, I would like to see a scene where the grandmother has to acknowledge the harm she has done in her choices and maybe explain where they came from. And again, I don't think they came from a place of malice. I don't think she just genuinely stopped caring for one of her granddaughters. I think it was simply she was in so much pain, and it was how she processed the pain. People do not always do things that we're proud of, what like the grandfather said. But I also would like her to acknowledge that she wasn't right in that, and that she has actually caused a lot more pain, and that she has a hand in Maya being the person she is now, because Maya did not have other influences growing up. When Maya's father died, the only person she had, like, yeah, she had Bonnie's text message, but by that point, Bonnie was Maya's peer in age. They had been through so much and so distant. There was no one in her family to say, I've got you, I'm here for you, I'll look out for you, who was in that position that should have been, and Fisk took that role. So her grandmother does have stuff to answer for. And again, Maya made her own choices. Maya was an adult at the time. I do think Fisk did some like manipulating and grooming of a grieving young person. Like I don't think it was fully Maya's fault, but she made Maya's fully, yeah. But Maya did also make her own choices. Maya is not blameless, and we do have to remember that. But her grandmother did throw her away and say, I'm not going to try and help that child. Like, her life will be what it may. I'm protecting these grandchildren. I can't protect that one. And again, there could even be a degree if she didn't feel like she could protect Maya and there was helplessness involved. But no contact. Like, I understand messy families. I understand complicated family dynamics. I understand having a strange relationship with person A means it's hard to know person B. Like, families can be extremely messy and painful, but there is no reason to completely cut off person B. You can still try and write to them, send them letters, send them birthday gifts, let them know you care in the way Bonnie did, even though she was not getting anything back. So yeah. again, I find Maya, so I love her, and I love her character and I love her, but I'm also like, I want her to be like, to break down a little bit of what motivates her, like I said, both in what motivates her in terms of her family and being in their lives or not, but also in the sense of like, ultimately, is she just saying, I'm going to be as powerful as Fisk was, and then no one will be able to hurt me, even though someone like, I know she now knows Fisk is alive, and we'll get to that, but like, I want to be as powerful as that so then no one can ever touch me, no one can take from me ever again, and I will be in control of my life. Is that what's guiding her? Or is she going to ultimately come around to think, no, I want my family to be safe and I don't want anyone else to go through what I went through, even though I keep killing people who were just as innocent and guilty as my father was, but I'm causing all those kids to go through. You know, it's a very messed up cycle that Maya is involved in. Now, obviously, she'll never be my favourite character while she is perpetuating that cycle, just because that kind of character is never my favourite. But I have watched a lot of media over the years where you have this kind of anti-hero character, or even like your kind of action man type things, where they just kill all the bad guys they come across, even though those bad guys were probably not deserving of death. So I don't, you know, Maya, you have to take note that like she is following a long line of people along this line, and I do not cast her out. I think in some ways I'm like, good, we have a woman doing this stuff. Gaslight gatekeep girl boss. I support women's rights and also women's wrongs. But then I'm also like, Maya, you're so much better than this and you can do better. So yeah, messy. Now, obviously, we knew Fisk was alive, both because Fisk was obviously going to be alive and also because we had seen him in the medical thing. Now, he phoned and he called them off from their execution of Maya, which seemed like the guy seemed really surprised. Now, I don't know if that surprise was because, oh, Fisk is calling me off, or because he was surprised that Fisk was up and about, whether he knew Fisk was alive at all at that point, or whether he didn't know he was in the hospital bed. How long has Fisk been up and running? And what is Fisk's endgame here? Now, obviously, he and Maya have a very personal relationship. He knew her from when she was tiny. He took her in after her father died and molded and guided her and just forgot to mention that he was the reason her father died. And then she shot him in the face. So like they have a really complicated dynamic. Fisk, again, I'm not a huge expert on Fisk. I haven't seen all of Daredevil and like I haven't read any of the comics and stuff beyond that. But Fisk to me, I feel like there's a small chance he could be like, Maya, so killed your dad, you shot me in the face, even Stevens, you're a great asset, I can help you, let's be together. Like I almost feel like a part of him called the people off because he wants to try and use Maya still. And he knows that she is a much better asset than she is enemy. Then the very likely side is she made him hurt, he wants to make her hurt in retaliation, and he is going to issue ultimatums and threats. But this could go a number of ways, and I'm very intrigued. Thank you so much for watching.